that our children need to survive. We're not even preparing them from grammar school and high school for anything. You know, teachers are teaching to the test. We're teaching stuff that has no bearing to do with how they're going to be able to, you know, work or survive or get a job. And forget about work ethic with these young kids. Like you said, they got the me syndrome. Daddy, mommy, help me. Like, you know, it's, you know, and it's everybody else's fault. There's no accountability either.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is totally out the window.
Yeah, you know, and the progressive feed into that, the left, and, you know, I really despise the left's narrative, identity politics. It really undermines Dr. Martin Luther King's message for the prayer and hope he had that we would be judged by our content and character. And it was a hell of a slap in the face when Joe Biden, during his campaign, says, when I become president, I'm going to nominate the first black woman to the Supreme Court. If that is not racist on its face, I don't know what is. It's a clear violation of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. It violates and discriminates against all males, all women of non-color, disabled, and the like. And he gets away with it. But they call Donald Trump a racist. You know, the ability to rationally take the common sense things like this and dissect, people can't do. And it's sad. It really is sad.
And that's the thing. I mean, for the kids, now that they're when they get old enough that mommy and daddy don't take care of them every day, they've been told throughout their education, once mommy and daddy are not helping you every day, depend on the government. Stay dependent. And the kids are totally fine with that. I mean, it's sad because, I mean, we used to care about, like, I want to excel at something. I want to be the best. I want to, get the reward for being the best because I'm also serving other people by being the best. And, I mean, I had heard one child a couple of years ago when he was early in high school. He was like, nobody in the class, of his, in other words, cares about anybody else. And I was talking about, well, when you're part of a society, you have your role and you do for others and they do for you. And together with all of us, with all our different skills, that's how a society and an economy works and all this other stuff. He said, nobody's going to worry about anybody else. They don't care. They just want to have what they want to have for fun time, for leisure time. If they make enough money just to pay for their leisure, they're happy. I was like, well, there's more to pay for than leisure, first of all. And nobody's going to keep giving you that.
You're absolutely right, Greg. And you're reminding me when I was a child and my parents engaged in civic duties and helping those that were less fortunate. I was blessed to be able to raise and to be able to witness that we have a responsibility, that we're blessed and we're lucky. I mean, even though if we ate hot dogs and beans 2 or 3 times a week, we didn't know that we were poor per se. Just, you know what I mean? Back then, everybody was the same, person, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Like you said, that time will never come back, and it's sad. I'm very blessed and lucky to grow up in the 60s. I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not sure what the turnaround will be. But it's going to have to start in the educational system, because we look at the breakdown of society, even when we look at the separation of church from the communities now, once they start accepting money, where they used to be the base of all communities, whether the Jewish community, the black community, the Catholic, the Italians, whatever it may be, that has broken up and eroded. And then now we have the break and the erosion of the educational system. There's no place to bring all of this together, and I'm concerned that the way the educational system's going, and because religious leaders aren't standing up against a lot of this immoral behavior or acts or indoctrination to our children, I'm concerned that the gap is going to widen.
Yeah, it's something else because I don't know. I think once I started hearing some of the parents that would go and complain to the teachers, like, if you don't give my child an A+, I'm going to give you all kinds of problems, and complaining and yelling, and it's like, you better score my child as the best student. I mean, what kind of nerve do you have to be like that?
Wow.
It should certainly be what they earn. And the problem is those parents don't realize they're doing a tremendous disservice to their kids because they're setting them up for a fall when reality hits, and it inevitably will. There is no way for them to go skate through their whole life, do nothing, with sincere effort, and still be rewarded as if they're the magic maker for everything they touch. It's just not real. And the problem is the longer you hide them from that and shelter them from that reality, and then suddenly they get hit with it, the more devastating it is that they find out they've been lied to their whole lives about being better than everyone else when they're just like everybody else, just like all of us. And that's the thing. I mean, you don't get better than other people at anything unless you work harder at it and really put your effort and your mind to it, and all those other things, the traditional phrases that folks like us know from when we were kids, that, this is how you have to handle life in order to be successful in it and be happy. And now it's like, the kids, they can't handle anything. They really can't handle any disappointment. And the problem is they've been told they're smarter than everybody else. And they really believe it because everybody continues to tell them. And this is the thing. I mean, this is where the educational system and the Democrats have really destroyed the country, because they knew to get in early on these kids before they were older and had some more angle of how they analyze things, to be able to see through all the nonsense that they're being told by them. And if they tell them in the beginning like that, I don't blame the kids at all, because they are taught that they are super special in every way without any work effort. And if you're told that every day, for the most part, if you're told anything every day, as a young person, you're going to start to believe it. And this is the problem. That's not a reality that exists. You have to work hard to be the best at anything, and you have to be focused and be efficient also, not just hard but also smartly. And they're not being put to a challenge. They're not being pushed to be able to really understand what it takes to succeed or excel. And the thing is, they don't have to excel at everything they do either. But what I would say is that when somebody does work hard and winds up with a bigger reward than someone who doesn't, the one who doesn't should understand and see, yes, they outperformed me. But now it's everybody else's fault. It's, this person's privileged or whatever else. We've talked in the past about AOC. She was one of the most privileged people out there, but she went to sleep during class when they were teaching economics at her expensive school she went to, and she basically now destroys the area where her constituents are with her lack of economic knowledge. And that's because she wasn't really pushed to deal with the realities of how economics work. And now she's got a position that she really, she's got a level of responsibility that she's not equipped to handle. And that's just one example. There are several in Congress, but she's the most vocal one probably. So the conversation seems to gravitate back to her often enough. But, it's such a clear deficit of skills for an area that is essential to be a congressperson. I've said for a long time as a general phrase, activists make terrible candidates and vice versa. And the activist can take an issue and they can scream about it and they can get noticed. They can get in front of the camera and get attention. And that's great for that issue, to promote that issue. But when you're in government as a congressperson or any other part, the Senate or the presidency for that matter, you have to have a steady hand and analytical mind, and you have to be able to look at both aspects of the situation, look at the collateral damage of going this way versus that way, and you have to make sometimes a tough call but you have to have evaluated all those angles of it. And that's the only way to be responsible enough. And truthfully, in my mind, I mean, not everybody's qualified to be in Congress. I mean, I hope I could be fortunate enough to be there, because I've tried my whole life to build up the skills to be competent enough to do that job. But you know, the people who are in there, a lot of them now, they're just not, like I said, equipped to do the job and the responsibility that they have inherent in that job.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and that's why we have most of the challenges in government today. Politicians, they don't elect public servants, they don't elect people based on history of them preparing themselves for the office, but because they're likable or because they dumped a bunch of money in or whatever to move a candidate forward, and at the end of the day, it hurts the people. And Gregg, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come on America First Patriot podcast and talk about the Constitution, talk about so many different issues. Please share with the listeners if they would like to donate to your campaign or volunteer or contact you. Share that information.
Sure. The best place to go is our website. It's www.mele4congress.com. There is links to donate and to volunteer, of course, and we love and appreciate that, but also to find out about our positions on the issues. We have our summary there, and there's certainly also a place where you can submit questions for more details and things like that. We answer every question, so we will be responsive. I mean, I always felt one of the requirements of good leadership is to evaluate everything you can hear from everyone and then make the tough call, but never to ignore advice. If it doesn't work in your estimation, that's the judgment call you make, but never ignore it and just knock it out of hand from consideration. So we love to hear from our voters and our constituents in the area, especially in our district. We want to make it a better world for everybody. So hopefully the folks in the district will, hear the message loud and clear, and they will be convinced to give us a try.
Amen. Thank you so much again, Gregg, for taking time out of your schedule. I keep you and your family in prayer, and I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming primary election.
Very much appreciated, sir. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Okay, take care. Thank you. You're listening to American First Patriot podcast. We were honored to have in the studio today U.S. congressional candidate running Jersey District, Gregg Mele. Those who were unable to get his website, go to American First Patriot podcast and you go to meet Gregg Mele. The first sentence, I've attached his website link to his name. It's highlighted. So in the description of the show, all you have to do is go to Blog Talk Radio, American First Patriot podcast. Click on Gregg's name. We'll be able to go to his website. We're thankful that he took time out of his schedule to come on our show and talk about some of the challenges we face in America. We face with politicians, and we face in government. Next Monday, we're going to be here. Monday and Wednesday, we're going to have actually a friend of Gregg's on the show next Monday. We're going to have Billy Krempa running for Congress. He's an American First, who's running also as well. I believe he'll be here on Monday from 7 to 8 o'clock. We're here 7, 8, Monday, and Wednesday. We want to thank all of our followers and supporters for tuning in. If you're able to donate, we'd appreciate it. PayPal me, American First Patriot Podcast, or you can cash app us at USA First Podcast. So, everyone take care. Have a great weekend. God bless you all. Be safe. And as always, keep the faith. Have a good night now.